It's the kind of moment that takes your breath away. A little girl in a bright red coat, tiny arms and legs wiggling underneath a train car that could move at any moment. This is a situation that would usually send people running. But in Hammond, Indiana, it's quiet as she dusts herself off, casually picks up her book bag and a dropped water bottle, and carries on.
Her book bag could have got caught, her jacket could have got caught, the train could have started moving while she caught.
Moments like this from last February still shock Akeisha Henderson, who moved here nearly 3 years ago.
You better start moving, that thing's gonna move any second now.
She started recording these moments, posting on social media, showing the world what normal looks like in a city where trains may block the streets for hours at a time.
It's too far down.
Leaving kids with no choice but to take their chances, tangling with the steel beast that often stands in their way to school.
I know they're used to it, I can tell, because it's like they didn't hesitate to do it.
Industry experts say trains generally stop like this because their crew have reached the maximum hours they can work, or because of rail switching practices which impact when and where trains can move. Our investigative team and our partner, ProPublica, saw what can happen when they block crossings, watching everything from a student lifting his bike over stalled trains to crowds of kids waiting to see if a train would move before jumping over one by one to make the morning bell.
What do you think when you see that?
I think it's outrageous.
We took the video to members of Congress.
When you saw that video, what was your reaction?
It's shocking.
And Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg.
It's exactly why we believe that there needs to be and can be more done about this issue.
Our investigative team combed through data from the Federal Railroad Administration, which has been collecting blocked crossing complaints from the public since 2019. Last year alone, that data shows more than 30,000 reports of blocked crossings across the nation, with Texas, Ohio, Illinois, Indiana, and Tennessee in the top 5 for complaints. But the FRA, which falls under Buttigieg's umbrella, has no legal authority to regulate the problem.
It's always frustrating when you see behavior by a company and you're a regulator and you can't just grab them by the collar and say, stop it.
Secretary Buttigieg believes this is the moment for Congress to act and give the FRA more authority. But he's not waiting for solutions. He's funding them, putting $3 billion toward projects nationwide that make crossings safer or get rid of them altogether.
If we can target those resources to where there is the most inconvenience or the most danger, then that's going to be a big win for the communities that are impacted.
Communities like Hammond, where other potential solutions are now in the works following the release of our investigation in April.
I've been singing from this set of tunes for 20 years, and finally we're getting traction.
Hammond Mayor Tom McDermott says the CEO of Norfolk Southern, the rail company that routinely blocks the city's crossings, reached out after seeing footage of kids climbing under and over the trains. At the time, McDermott confirmed they were working out details of a proposed $5 million pedestrian bridge he was confident Norfolk Southern would fund the majority of.
This action could save lives.
It will save lives, no doubt about it.
This is more than an inconvenience. This is dangerous.
Senator Raphael Warnock is concerned about blocked crossings in his home state of Georgia and nationwide, addressing that danger in May, successfully adding provisions related to blocked crossings into a rail safety bill. Those amendments would prioritize federal funding designed to eliminate dangerous crossings to areas near schools or along bus routes and give consumers a direct way to report blockages to rail companies.
If these large railway corporations are able to act with impunity and no penalties, no accountability, this is what you get. We have to hold them accountable.
This is not something that should be happening in the United States of America.
Jared Cassidy is the chief of safety for SMART, the union that represents train conductors and engineers. Cassidy says long trains that can go on for miles could be separated if they're going to block crossings for hours or even days, like we've seen in Hammond and other communities. Although he calls it a fairly simple process, rail companies often choose not to do it.
It's not a big deal, but the railroads, because they want the train to move when they want the train to move, they don't want to have to deal with the time of the conductor walking. They don't want to have to lose the time of putting it or separating it and putting it back together.
So this is a deliberate and specific example of rail companies putting profits over safety.
Absolutely.
The Association of American Railroads, which reps rail companies, says blocked crossings aren't good for communities or their customers, and that safety is always their top priority. But new video from November is bringing that into question. It features another jaw-dropping moment in Hammond. With safety barriers down and red warning lights blinking, cell phone video from November shows students climbing over train cars blocking their way home from school. Two children begin the careful climb down the side of the car. Then, with no warning, the train lurches forward, sending a little girl jumping for her life.
Oh my God.
In that moment, you see that train starts moving. What goes through your head?
I thought she was gonna die.
Akeisha Henderson was sitting in her car right in this same spot, recording as she's done many times before. She's still watching these crossings because months after we first saw her videos and captured our own stunning images that caught national attention, prompting outrage and promises, permanent solutions still haven't come.
It's just confirmation of telling me that we don't care. I mean, you know this. Here's the proof, and you're still, nothing's still getting done. That's just confirmation there. Instead of me just thinking maybe they don't care, I know they don't care.
It's something she feels after watching what's happened in the aftermath of our reporting with ProPublica. Not just in her community, but across the country. In Hammond, as of December, there's still been no formal deal announced for that pedestrian bridge project the city's mayor said he believed Norfolk Southern would pay for. Although he says they continue to work with the company and have moved into the design phase of the project. On the national front, that rail safety bill Senator Warnock hitched amendments to in May has since stalled on Capitol Hill.
I do not understand why it has taken almost a year for Congress to act. These are provisions that are common sense.
Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg says passing legislation that adds new layers of protection for people impacted by the rail industry should be a top priority for Congress. He says it's critical to keep up the pressure.
Obviously, we showed you last year the video of the kids climbing over and under the trains. Now we've seen a child have to jump from a moving train just trying to go to school. Will this video make any difference if the first ones didn't?
No child anywhere in America should have to navigate a train, whether it's moving or whether it's still. They shouldn't have to navigate it in the first place. This should not be their problem. We owe it to kids and we owe it to communities to make sure that they are protected. And by the way, so do the railroads.
Norfolk Southern wouldn't comment on the new video and never agreed to an interview during the entire course of our reporting. But the company did tell us their collaboration with the city has been working, with no reports of this crossing being blocked for an extended time in the past 9 months. But it was blocked long enough for Akeisha Henderson to capture that perilous jump and the videos that started it all. She says she'll have her cell phone at the ready until children here are protected for good.
Hopefully they get tired of me recording and they do something about it.
Doing something about a problem that continues to have kids crawling under and over trains when they're railroaded by a system that leaves them no choice.